Hi everyone, I'm back again with another video. Welcome back to my channel. It's a bit hot today in Coimbra. I'm filming from Park Verde. In English we say Green Park. I'll be sharing with you guys some degree of culture shock I've experienced as an immigrant living in Portugal. You know, the things I found different as a Nigerian girl. So if you're looking forward to moving to Portugal from Nigeria, India, or any country in Africa, right? You should also know about this culture shock. The first one I'll be talking about is care for pets. Generally, the way pets are being cared for here in Europe is so shocking to me. You guys know I'm a typical Nigerian girl, right? And back in my home country, we don't have such mad love for pets. Of course, there are some Nigerians who love and cherish pets, but it's not a common practice. And I also believe this happens in some other countries in Africa. It's literally not our culture. I would say dogs are mostly used for security purposes in Nigeria. But coming to Europe, I was so shocked at how people cherish and love pets. Portuguese count pets as part of their family members. I once heard someone say, "Oh, we are a family of 4. In my head, I was thinking a father, mother, and 2 children, right? No, it's the other way around. A father, mother, a child, and a pet. Cats are also not left behind. I'm not even going to talk about cats, right? Because we don't see cats as pets. This reminds me of my colleague who would always talk about how beautiful her cat is. She would say to me, "Oh, her eyes are so beautiful." Don't get me wrong, guys. There's nothing wrong with someone appreciating the beauty of his or her cat. But the thing is that the typical Nigerian girl in me could not understand how or why cat eyes should be beautiful. I remember back in Nigeria, whenever I see a cat, right, I get so scared because of their eyes. Probably it's because of what they are used for. But coming to Europe, I was so shocked at how people cherish dogs, pets generally. You know, they provide sleeping bed for them, medical care, they take them on a walk. Despite their tight schedule, they still make out time for these pets. This made me realize how much people or Portuguese value living things, and I sincerely wish this could be replicated back in Nigeria. Yeah, care for pets is one of the culture shock I've had so far in Portugal. The second culture shock I've also experienced in Portugal is people pay for their shopping bags whenever they go to the market or shopping mall. I remember in my first week in Portugal, right? My husband took me to the mall for groceries. And after picking some items, we got to the stage where we needed to pay. And the cashier was asking us, "Did you come with your bags or you want to buy from us?" Then my husband was bringing us some bags. To be honest, guys, it didn't make any sense to me because back in Nigeria, right, whenever we go to the market, sellers provide shopping bags for us. I remember those days in Abuja, whenever I go to one of those markets, Wuse market or Otako market, right, I would always tell the seller to double the bag for me. That is what I've been used to growing up. But coming to Portugal, the reverse is the case. People go for shopping with their bags, except maybe they want to buy from them, which is not expensive. Yeah, but I also realized that Portuguese government uses this medium to control plastic waste. So if you're an African moving to Portugal, this is one of the things that would also shock you when you finally move to Portugal. The third culture shock I've also experienced in Portugal as a Nigerian girl is the fact that people address their superiors or the elderly ones by their first names. Unlike in Nigeria, where we have to call auntie, uncle, mom, sirs, even when they are not related to us, right? That is our culture. But coming to Portugal, I discovered people prefer to be addressed by their first names. Imagine calling an elderly person by his or her first name. Guys, I sober struggled in my first year when I got a job, having to call my boss by her first name. It was so uncomfortable for me. I would always add a title whenever I want to talk to her, but then I discovered she was very uncomfortable with it. So one day, one of my colleagues called me and she says to me, oh, you don't have to add title whenever you're talking to her. She doesn't like it. In my head, I was like, this can never happen in a Nigerian work environment. Calling your boss by his or her first name, your resignation letter will be waiting for you. Therefore, if you're an African, because I know this is so common with Africans, if you're an African coming to Portugal, please keep your titles back home. They don't exist here in Portugal. The fourth culture shock I also experienced in my first week was the fact that everyone drinks tap water. This was very uncomfortable for me initially because in Nigeria, we hardly drink tap water because of the fear of falling sick or having typhoid. But the case is totally different here in Portugal. I remember vividly when I gave birth to my daughter here in Portugal, it was time to start giving her some water after 6 months. So I went to the hospital to discuss with the doctor on how I was going to buy some bottled water, bring them to a boil before giving to her. And she says to me, oh, it's not necessary. You can fetch some water from the tap and give to her. Guys, it was a shock to me because in my head I was like, my newborn baby, tap water. I totally forgot I wasn't in Nigeria. Then she says to me, Portugal has one of the best water here in Europe, which is true. Yeah, so drinking tap water was one of the culture shock I experienced when I came to Portugal. But yeah, that's what we all drink, and nobody falls sick by drinking tap water here in Portugal. Another culture shock I've experienced and I'm still experiencing is that Portuguese are open to everything. They can talk and discuss about everything without any reservation. They can tell you about themselves. They've got nothing to hide. And I find this very impressive, to be honest. I like this kind of culture shock. However, as a Nigerian girl, right, it was pretty difficult for me, mostly when I was pregnant with my daughter. Some of my colleagues would always come to my desk to play with my bum and ask me some questions like, what sex are you expecting? When is your EDD? In my head, I'll be like, why are they asking? I mean, these are private questions, right? But then it's their culture. They ask these questions because they want to buy some present before the arrival of your baby. But because of how I was brought up in Nigeria, like how the Nigerian society is, we don't share some delicate or sensitive information with non-family members. Sometimes with family members, we are still very careful. You guys know, village people. I'm pretty sure Nigerians who are subscribed to this channel can relate. Yeah, so it was a shock to me when I first came to Portugal. Another culture shock I've experienced and I'm still experiencing here in Portugal is display of affection. How people display affection, mostly teenagers. And no one frowns at it, no one talks about it. It's a norm, sort of. They do it wherever they find themselves, at the park, in the bus, at the mall, wherever they find themselves, and nobody talks about it. Whenever I go out and I see such, I'll be like, oh my God, Nigerian society does not welcome this. Even though we know some people, mostly teenagers back in Nigeria, right? They also engage in this kind of activities privately. But seeing it in public has always been a shock to me. Change in weather is also another culture shock I've experienced and I'm still experiencing here in Portugal. In summer, it doesn't get dark until maybe 9 or 10 p.m. I still find this very fascinating, how 9 p.m. can be as bright as afternoon. Then when I tell my kids it's time to go to bed, they will tell me, no mom, it's not nighttime. Then during winter, it's the other way around. It gets dark from 4 to 5 p.m. So if you're moving to Portugal, if you're thinking of moving to Portugal, right, this is one of the culture shock you will also be experiencing here in Portugal. In Portugal, if someone says to you, hey, let's go for breakfast, lunch or dinner, please keep in mind that you would have to pay for whatever you eat with your money. Yes, you heard me right. You have to go with some money. This is totally different back in Nigeria, where someone invites you for an outing, maybe in a restaurant or any fast food joint, and the person takes care of your bills, right? Because the person invited you. But it's totally different here in Portugal. Even if you're being invited, you would still need to pay for your bills. Yes. However, if you're not prepared for this, whenever you are being invited, right, you can nicely say, oh, thank you, some other time, just to avoid being embarrassed. Please keep this in mind. The last but not the least is how drivers obey traffic rules, which is not common in Nigeria. Whenever the traffic light is red, all cars will stop, whether the road is empty or not. Also, whenever they see a passerby on the walk cross or zebra line crossing over, right, the drivers will stop. Even if it takes like a few minutes for you to cross over, they will wait for you. Sometimes I forget that this is Portugal and not Nigeria, and that I don't need to signal to drivers to stop before I could cross over. Because in Nigeria, a lot of drivers don't obey traffic rules. Yeah, so these are the things I think might shock you when you finally move to Portugal. If you've also experienced any culture shock in the country where you live in, please drop it at the comment section because I really want to know. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with your friends and your loved ones. Thank you so much guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.